It's already the 13th day of July on this Monday worldwide broadcast. I am your host, Alex Jones, and we're going to premiere and play a lot of special reports here today across the political spectrum from different angles and from around the world. And we are going to also open the phones up. It is a very heavy news day, to say the least, and I will attempt to cover it all. That said, last night and again this morning, I was brainstorming about ways to reach out to the general public and to try to break them out of their trance. And it really hit me that it's parables, or basically simple stories, historically, that are able to get people to shift out of unconsciousness into at least a mode of being somewhat focused on the big picture. And I've talked a lot about this pretty much ad nauseum, but it crystallized that we need to form some type of movement. We need to form some type of pro-human union around the world that transcends the divide and conquer that we're under attack by. And I was really thinking about this last night when I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. And then again when I woke up this morning, and I went downstairs into the kitchen, turned on the computer, started drinking some coffee, and sat back for about 25 minutes watching a video and reading an article that Paul Watson had just posted to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com, and watching the video and then thinking about other statements I've seen out of Russian leaders. It was incredible. And it just crystallized everything I already knew, but made it so clear that it almost took a giant weight off of me. And then I realized how exhausted I was. This understanding was so simple, but at the same time so complex, that I realized I never really talk about it or get into it, because it's something so important it needs to be put in a pamphlet or a book. It needs to be promoted. It needs to be released with fanfare, because it really is the decoding of everything we face and the choice of the species. Because if I just sit here and spew this information out like a broken fire hydrant onto a boiling August day, or in this case, a July day, the information just kind of evaporates up into the sky in this desert of ignorance. Yeah, maybe a few open minds come and cool off in the water for a few minutes, but sure enough, the New World Order Fire Department comes along and will just fix the leak and, you know, shove it full of a bunch of Beyonce says ban the First Amendment, and Hillary says men need to be sent to re-education fund camps, and the Pentagon's training to put Tea Partiers in, quote, re-education camps, and we've got more deaths from Gardasil around the world. Just this background that is the wreckage of the ship of tyranny, the ship of death, the ship of corruption, the ship of fraud, the ship that is willing to overturn our world and everything good in it, because everything good in it is diametrically opposed to the hellish vision of the controllers. And that's why it's hard to break this down, because I get inside their mind, I get inside their their future plans, their current operations, their past plans, understanding their worldview, understanding where they're going, understanding the crazed spirit of conquest that fills their sails. I know one thing for certain. No one should be bored right now. No one should be saying their life is meaningless. When consciousness on this planet and all that comes with it itself is a limitless, pristine, godlike, opportunity. Because every day I come in here and every night and every morning I read all these news articles and all these video clips and all these interesting factoids and things I want to cover and things that can be used to get folks to see a wider vista, a wider horizon. But if you just look at it individually overall, it becomes clutter that sits in front of the mind and blocks out the light of the wider world coming into the cave. To use the allegory of the third eye, it's a bunch of piled up, wrecked, twisted droppings, leavings of the train wreck that we're witnessing. And we simply need to understand that we're not going to defeat this system coming at it from its level. We're going to have to circumnavigate it. We're going to have to get outside of it. We're going to have to remove ourselves from it at a far to observe it. Or the classical statement, get outside the box. And that's why everything we face in this world, everything pushed by the social engineers, is there to keep us shuttered, dumbed down, simple-minded, with limited language and limited semantical symbols, unable to communicate with each other at a bestial, dumbed-down level. Because above that, outside the box, there is less than 1/1000th of 1% that are evil and who are aware of what's going on, who are outside the box, and have said, oh my gosh, we are enlightened, we are informed, we are illuminated, we know what's going on, we can't let them inside the box know what's going on outside the box. In fact, they could find a way out of the subterranean labyrinth and emerge to the surface if we don't wall off all the exits and try to dig them deeper under the ground, under level after level after level of rat mazes, so that they can sit back and play God over the rest of us. You see the globalists funding radical Islamicists to destabilize and take down countries. You see them going into any nation that's trying to industrialize and bringing them down. You see them maneuvering the United States towards financial collapse and setting us up to only be a military power so that we can be the muscle of the globalist, but controlled by baubles and industrial goods and energy. Other countries under the treaties, the globalist agreements, are not supposed to have big militaries, but then they are allowed to have the industry, the jobs, the factories, because they are totalitarian. They will then use the totalitarianism as a form of competition to force us to convert to totalitarianism in the name of competing. The only way to compete in a globalized world is become more globalized. And then that means adopting whatever the high priest of the global order say it is that particular month, that particular year, that particular decade. And when one reads the writings of the globalist, it only becomes more hellish. But here's the big announcement. And it's something you've heard before, but I really want to focus it, condense it, and hammer it, and develop plans with you to try to reach out to others in a catchy way, because this is catchy. This is dynamite information. This is the key. To try to shift people out of their swamp, their trance that they're in. And the bottom line is this. All fighting between humans, whether it be Christian against Muslim, or whether it be Mexican against somebody in the U.S., or whether it be Protestant versus Catholic, or one black tribe against another black tribe, all of it in the end is being artificially exacerbated so that humanity is so fragmented that the scientific takeover can take place and end humanity as we know it. Now, I understand you already know that, but that's a big idea. And we come back, I want to break down the fact that Russia, the United States, Libya, Germany, Mexico, Chile, Japan, doesn't matter where you live, what continent or what country, we're all under the exact same globalist attack. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. And from around the world. And we are going to also open the phones up. It is a very heavy news day, to say the least, and I will attempt to cover it all. That said, last night and again this morning, I was brainstorming about ways to reach out to the general public and to try to break them out of their trance. Talked a lot about this pretty much ad nauseum, but it crystallized that we need to form some type of movement. We need to form some type of pro-human union around the world that transcends the divide and conquer that we're under attack by. It's already the 13th day of July on this Monday worldwide broadcast. I am your host, Alex Jones, and we're going to premiere and play a lot of special reports here today across the political spectrum from different angles. And I was really thinking about this last night when I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. And then again when I woke up this morning, and I went downstairs into the kitchen, turned on the computer, started drinking some coffee, and sat back for about 25 minutes watching a video and reading an article. And it really hit me that it's parables, or basically simple stories historically, that are able to get people to shift out of unconsciousness into at least a mode of being somewhat focused on the big picture. And I've talked